What's up, Cowboy fans? Bias and live. Coach's Corner, Week 6, sponsored by the Bear Brothers. Once again, joined by the head ball coach of the Chaney Cowboys, Coach Amill. Coach, Week 6, thanks for joining us out in the rain.
Thanks. I appreciate you having me.
Okay, let's go back Friday night, Canfield High School. Coach, I watched the game at the studio. Again, a lot of positive things for the Chaney Cowboys. Have the lead in the first half, and then it kind of goes back to things that we talk about weekly. A couple big plays, a couple turnovers. After you had a chance to look at it, talk about that game a little bit.
We started off playing great. We moved the ball up and down the field. Had a backup quarterback in who's a sophomore, and he was playing great. And they just got the momentum. We have a freshman linebacker coming out in the third quarter and just got out of position. They got a big one on us, and then we turn the ball over and just starts to go downhill. The snowball just keeps going and going. But there's a lot to build off of. We played a physical team. We held our own. They can play against one of the best teams in the state. I think they're number division. So for us to see that we can play against those kind of teams, and be in the lead, that's big for us, guys.
Yeah, there's no question. Yeah. That was an outstanding game. I thought physically, you were right there with them. I moved the ball, and it was just unfortunate. It was like in a span of, like you said, that 4-minute span, it kind of turned the game over. But again, you have to be confident, Chris, with not looking at your record and the people you have played now with the East game, which we will talk about. Your schedule has this football team and your staff prepared for this playoff run.
Absolutely. We're prepared. We're and our guys are working hard. With a couple injuries here and there. Like I said, the only game we were full go was Mooney. What we can do. But yeah, we're playing teams. If we were able to play Urson later, it's a different ball game. It was week 1, but you just see us grow every week. You see the confidence, the understanding of what we're doing, and just a team coming together.
Let's talk about it, Coach. Coach Amill on Coach's Corner, sponsored by Bear Brothers. Big rivalry with East. But before you get that injury-wise, how are you doing? How is Petrosky? How are all the injuries at Chaney High School right now?
We're getting back. Sean is back. He's definitely playing defense. We have him at running back with he has a broken bone in his hand, so he has hard to grip the ball at quarterback. But he's just too good of a player and athlete not to use him somehow, some way. So he's been getting a lot of reps at tailback this week, and a different side of Delshawn that instead of catching the ball from under center and running, now he gets a handoff and runs. So it'll be fun.
Like that. I'm going to say that a little bit. Talk about the sophomore quarterback, Chris. I was impressed. I thought he threw the ball well. I thought against a very good Canfield team from watching it at the studio, I thought he went through his reads pretty well also.
He did. He's very well coached with Seth Antrim, having him all year. Our backup at practice, he gets as many reps as a starter, if not more. He meets with them after practice. He orders food and they sit down and they get on the board and they watch film. It's a tremendous job with these guys. So the backup going in was never an issue. And then just the athlete he is, he has a chance to be the top player in Ohio coming out, when he's a senior.
The athletic skills by him. I didn't know that he was a sophomore until I think somebody at the studio said that's a good looking sophomore. So off of that, how important is that for your staff and the football team to know that he's able to do the job? And now you have, let's be honest, you got a dual threat at running back right now under the circumstances.
It's huge. For Sean, we didn't know until practice started on Thursday that he wasn't playing. So it's wrap up review day with helmets and t-shirts getting ready for the game, and for Jason to come in and guys are going to be with Delshawn being the starting quarterback for 2 years. It just kind of caught him off guard. But once Jason got in, even at practice, he just took charge. He took charge of the huddle. He took charge of the team. Put attitudes and different things. He's just a natural born leader. He's everything you want in a player. And I say that about Delshawn, him being an alpha dog, that's going to be Jason. And you see it already with the way he takes control and thing.
We're with Coach Amill, Coach's Corner, sponsored by Barrett Brothers. East High, and we'll talk about that rivalry. I believe the game's at Boardman, but I'm going to tell you, I was getting a lot of texts. People know that I'm close with you. They're like, did you know about this? I was like, I did not know that there was going to be a quarterback change. Because it was one of the games that I picked to watch at the studio. And I'm looking, I'm like, I know he's not number 5. I know it. And then our announcers did a good job. So I got to give props to Coach here for keeping that on the down low as long as possible. So shout out to you on that. But let's dive in here. First of all, East, a big rivalry. You've coached there, Coach Morrow. I know you're close with. The game is at Boardman, correct?
Yeah, yes, it is at Boardman.
That's a nice thing too. That's a good thing for those kids on turf. That'll be a big thing for them to play. Talk about the rivalry a little bit in the city. It's a big game. The records is like a Mooney Urson thing. The records don't matter in this game. These kids are both going to come ready to go at one another. Talk about your thoughts on this city rivalry.
Yeah, like I tell, my boys, their record doesn't show like the way they've been playing. You see it on film. They get after guys. They have a 7-0 game with Mooney. The game with Shaw. Their first game of the season was close. Even the game with Highland. I mean, hell, they put up more points against Highland than we did. It's not a walkover. It's not going to be something that's easy. They're a well-coached football team. Brian's a tremendous coach. He's going to make sure that they're disciplined and do what they're supposed to do. And then just these guys are the seniors in both classes, having played before the school split and being friends and all the trash talking. The records don't matter. These guys want to win. I've been telling my guys, don't be East's first win. Like that's what you don't want to be. They're hungry. They want to win, and they salvage the season if they beat us, and they're considered the best team in the city. And we just got to come out and play. I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be physical. We moved the game to Boardman because they didn't want fans that ran. And then it's both teams. So that's going to be something different. That's going to be something big. It's East senior night. It's Chaney senior night. So, we're going to honor the seniors on both teams and it's going to be a game and it's going to be physical.
Let's get it on.
Fast.
How important is, I shouldn't say important, how special is that relationship with Brian? I know the Morrow family very well, all the brothers, Coach Desmond. I know you're close. That specialness and closeness still has to be there with that family.
Absolutely. It always will be. Brian's always been like a big brother to me. When I came back from school, I started coaching with Brian Church, the church that we took over a Pee Wee team, and Brian was the head coach, and I went down and coached with Brian and really learned a lot from him there. How to lead and how to be that example and not be the old school coach that always has to yell, cuss, and grab face and all that stuff. All those different ways to do it, and then come full circle and be able to coach with them, at East and win the All-American Conference, our last year together. That relationship is great. And then, with Dude, just ducking and recruiting and the relationship that me and him have, and Raymond and Dwayne, and then, all of Brian's, his daughters and his nieces and nephews, they all call me Uncle. It's just the ties and the connections. My son's called Brian and his wife Auntie. I mean, it's just, an Uncle Dude. I mean, it's an incredible relationship that's been there for a while, and it'll be there beyond this. This is the game. I mean, the relationship we have is bigger than that.
Well, that's awesome to hear, and both of you represent both schools very well. Before the next question, do you look at this as like the playoffs are starting this week? Is that safe to say?
Yeah, for us it is. We started to say it last week. Going into Canfield. At the end of the day, there's a chance we may run into Canfield in the playoffs. Starting last week was our playoff run. What we're going to do, how we're going to respond, the changes we need to make, the adjustments we need to have going into the Canfield game, after the Canfield game, going into this one. and beyond. I don't know where we'll fall playoff wise. Talking to Coach Pavlansky, he feels we're one of the best 8 teams in the region, but our record was to be there. And he said he definitely doesn't want to play us again. And and I believe that because I can give anybody in this region a run for their money, and guys have to be prepared. They got to be ready. And Pavlansky seen us up close and personal where some of these other schools haven't. So what they see on film and what they see, us do and in person is going to be a different story.
That has to make you feel good. That has to make your football team and staff feel good because Coach Pav is one of the better guys in the coaching profession. There's no doubt in my mind you're one of the better teams in that region, no doubt. I think you guys will do some damage there. I think I'm not going to come out and name people, but there's a lot of people I looked at that I just think you're better than. So with Coach Amill, Coach's Corner, East Chaney City Rivalry, Friday night at Boardman Stadium. Sponsored by Baird Brothers, your coaches go. All right, Coach, your keys to beating East, getting win number 2.
First thing and foremost is just take care of the ball. We to eliminate turnovers. And this week's going to be a little different. It's going to be keeping our composure, not getting too up or too down and not getting too involved in the trash talking and, the extra stuff after plays, friends and all that stuff going on. And for us, just finishing plays. I tell the guys all the time, if we can finish plays, we'll finish quarters, we finish corners, we finish games. That's what we just have to work on doing.
You know what I wanted to ask you? Does that wear on your kids? I know coaches, I do the same thing. You don't want to turn the ball over. Do you see that being a reminder to continue to play at the pace you want to play at?
It happens, and I talked to the guys yesterday. Turnovers happen. You watch professional football, college football, turnovers happen. I think the thing that bothers me the most are just the ones that can be avoided. Whether it's a missed handoff, like things like that, should be avoided. It's one thing if you take a big hit. It's one thing if a defensive back makes a great play, or even if a quarterback is just trying to force a play. I don't have an issue with that because we can look past it, we can move on, we can play. But just those little mistakes, punt blocks, and just little things like that are the things that drive me crazy.
Well, and that's a good thing. And extra effort plays, there's going to be turnovers, no doubt. But let's go get win number 2. I love Coach Morrow, but let's go beat East High School. Get together next week and talk some playoffs, which I'm looking forward to because, Chris, again, I think this football team has a lot of season ahead of them. And I know you think that. I know your staff thinks that. I could tell your kids thought that. I thought they played hard, physical, and we wish you the best of luck Friday night. We'll get together next week, talk about hopefully a victory over East, and get the Chaney fans ready for the playoff opponent and where we'll be at next week. So from all of us at YSN, we love being a part of what you do, and we wish you nothing but the best.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys of it and letting Cowboy Nation be able to view the games from all over.
All righty. Good luck Friday night. Go get them. Have a good one. Stay dry. I'm dry.